If you're getting close to retirement or you're already there, this is not the time to guess with your money. This is the time to be clear, confident, and in control. And one of the questions I see come up over and over again is this: ETFs or mutual funds. What's actually better for your retirement? Now, listen carefully, because this is not about which one is better in general. It's about which one is right for you, your stage of life, and how you want to live in retirement. Because here's the truth: the wrong choice doesn't just cost you money, it can cost you peace of mind. And at this stage of your life, peace of mind is everything. Let's start with what you're really trying to do in retirement. You are no longer building your wealth the same way you were in your 30s or 40s. You are now protecting it. You are drawing from it. You are relying on it to support your life. So the real question becomes, which option gives you more control, lower costs, and less stress? Let's talk about mutual funds first. Mutual funds have been around for decades. They're familiar, they feel safe to many people, and they're often what you've been invested in through your employer retirement plans. But here's the problem most people don't realize: many mutual funds are expensive. And I don't mean just a little expensive. I mean quietly draining your retirement over time. You have expense ratios. You may have management fees. Some even have sales charges, what we call loads. And all of that comes out of your returns. Now, if you're 35 years old, you have time to recover from that. But if you're 65 or 70, you don't. Every dollar lost to fees is a dollar you don't have to live on. And here's something else that matters: mutual funds are priced only once per day, at the end of the trading day. So you don't have real-time control. You don't get to react during the day if the market is moving. You're essentially placing your order and waiting. Now, for some people, that's fine. In fact, it can reduce emotional decisions. But let's compare that to ETFs. Exchange traded funds, ETFs, are like mutual funds in that they hold a basket of investments: stocks, bonds, or both. But they trade like stocks. That means you can buy and sell them throughout the day. You see the price in real time. You have flexibility. And here's where it gets really important for retirement: ETFs are usually much cheaper, lower expense ratios, fewer hidden fees, more transparency, and over time, those lower costs can make a meaningful difference in how long your money lasts. Let me make this very clear. In retirement, it's not just about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Now, I want to address a fear that a lot of retirees have. They worry that ETFs are somehow riskier because they trade like stocks. That's not true. The risk comes from what's inside the fund, not how it trades. If you own a broad, diversified ETF that tracks the overall market or bonds, it can be just as stable or even more efficient than a mutual fund holding similar investments. So don't confuse structure with risk. Now let's talk about taxes, because this is where many retirees get blindsided. Mutual funds can distribute capital gains to you even if you didn't sell anything. Let me say that again. You can owe taxes on gains you didn't personally realize. And in retirement, when you're trying to manage your income carefully, that can create unnecessary tax burdens. ETFs, on the other hand, are generally more tax efficient. They're structured in a way that tends to minimize those surprise capital gains distributions. That means more control over when you pay taxes. And control equals power. Now, does that mean ETFs are always the better choice? No, because here's the honest truth. What matters most is not the wrapper, it's your behavior. If having the ability to trade ETFs during the day is going to tempt you to panic when the market drops, then that flexibility becomes a weakness. Because emotional decisions are the biggest threat to your retirement, not fees, not taxes, not even market downturns. It's you reacting at the wrong time. So you have to ask yourself an honest question. Do I want simplicity and structure, or do I want flexibility and control? If you are someone who wants a set it and stay focused approach, a low cost mutual fund, especially an index fund, can absolutely work. But if you want lower costs, better tax efficiency, and more transparency, ETFs often have the edge. Now let's bring this back to what really matters. Your life. Retirement is not about beating the market. It's about making sure your money lasts as long as you do. It's about sleeping at night without worrying if you made the wrong move. It's about knowing that when you need to withdraw money, whether it's for your monthly expenses, a medical bill, or simply to enjoy your life, you can do it without fear. So here's what I want you to do. Look at what you currently own, not what someone told you to buy, not what you've had for years without questioning. Look at it. What are you paying in fees? Are you getting hit with taxes you didn't expect? Do you understand how your investments actually work? If the answer to any of those is no, that's your wake-up call, because confusion is expensive. Now here's your actionable step. If you are in high-cost mutual funds, start exploring low-cost alternatives, whether that's lower fee mutual funds or ETFs. Pay attention to expense ratios. That number matters more than most people realize. And if you're working with an advisor, ask them a direct question. How much am I paying all in? If they can't give you a clear answer, that's a problem. And finally, simplify. You do not need a complicated portfolio in retirement. You need a smart one, diversified, low cost, easy to manage. That's what gives you confidence. So ETFs versus mutual funds, which is better? The better choice is the one that keeps more money in your pocket, reduces unnecessary taxes, and helps you stay disciplined. For many retirees, that's going to be ETFs. But for some, a simple, low-cost mutual fund still gets the job done. Just don't make the mistake of thinking they're all the same, because they're not. And at this stage of your life, every decision counts. Protect what you've worked so hard to build, because this is not just about money anymore. This is about your freedom,